Cultúr Lab is an experiment between the university and the city. Really important for the university to find ways to bring knowledge, ideas and experience and imaginings from arts and humanities to other places, especially through the city. But tonight was sort of about pushing it out a bit and saying, you know, what does cultural innovation mean for Dublin? What's the value now that we can place on that as a society, and what can we do together in a practical way to start to foster that climate of innovation, start to make things happen?
Tonight we hosted an event called Igniting Ireland's Cultural and Creative Innovation. I am one of the co-founders along with Eva Gibbons of Cultúr Lab, and what we hope to do was actually to get all of the key stakeholders in a room to discuss how best we can across silos and across institutions come together to actually put culture and creative innovation on the national agenda.
I think we are born innately creative, and yet, as we heard tonight, it gets squashed out of you so often, not least ironically through the education system. And so there is, as we've discussed, a need for the education system to embed creativity within it, in the learning and pedagogy. But then there are other ways that we get creativity crushed out of us through our life experiences. So it's about turning that around, and for those that have power in the institutions and in government to liberate people to be themselves and to stop patronising them, and to provide platforms and opportunities where people can just do it for themselves and with others.
I like to think of innovation as creating value from knowledge. Our knowledge of language, literature, film, philosophy, culture and the creative arts are very important to all of us, to our well-being, and that's just as important as other types of value and commercial value that might come from the sciences and technology. Moreover, it's really important that lots of opportunities arise from when different forms of innovation from the sciences, from technology, come together with the creative arts, and through design thinking we can create good products and services that also create value for the economy.
This evening I was looking at the kind of challenge around igniting Ireland's cultural economy and creative innovation, and really the point that I was making this evening was that I think firstly we already have an extraordinary groundbed of innovation in creativity and culture in Ireland, and that we kind of need to fan the flames of that as opposed to looking to ignite it. And there's lots of examples around, whether it's First Music Contact or Funded, of lots of people being engaged in that conversation, and really what we need to do as individuals is work out how we bring those relationships together and how we spot the opportunities where we can bring creativity and culture closer to society in order to benefit us on the widest possible ground.
I suppose that I'd like us to see this time in Ireland as a kind of a design moment and a design opportunity where we have to regroup, and also in the context of the decade of centenaries in Ireland at 100, we're coming up to being 100. So there's a moment here and I think in that process, it seems to me, the role of culture has a critical role to play, and culture, and it is our difficulty, it seems to me, is we've tended to treat things in silos. So we have, you know, the business community over there, and we have science here, and we have arts over there. And I think to play to our strengths, because other countries play to their strengths, we got to identify our strengths and play to our strengths, and this is a huge one. And that's what the conversation is about, and that's why I think an event like this evening is valuable, to bring people together to begin brainstorming about all of that.
I suppose my key message to bring to the discussion was that if we're talking about creativity and arts, we need to talk about the artists and the measures we're putting on artists, and that those measures aren't how productive are you and how many paintings can you knock out in an hour, and how many fabulous albums. It's about, are we the kind of society who will allow artists to create and that be enough? That there doesn't have to be a commercial output to that creativity, and if there is, it contributes to stuff on a societal level like well-being, and it just is good because it's good. And I suppose the other thing I wanted to bring to the room, that if we are talking about how important this is collectively to all of us, we have to collectively call stop when the very institutions that are funding and allowing that creativity to happen are being ignored or cut.
Tonight I was talking a lot about the way kids learn and the way they're trying to be creative, and at the same time they're punished for making mistakes. And I believe that those mistakes are actually crucial to creativity and innovation. So being creative and innovative, it means you have to be not afraid to making mistakes. You have to have that freedom of failure and be able to learn from what you've done before.
We're already in a good place here, but it's going to be an exciting future if culture and creativity is at last taken seriously by politicians.